Little white van, alien boy.
And we're live.
Oh, we're live. I'll edit that. So, RGB, thanks for coming back. You're rejuvenated from vacation, correct?
Yes.
Paul, good to see you.
Good to see you as well. Very much so. Great time had by all.
Nice. Well, it's good to be back. It's good to be talking racing. We had a great day at the track. Lot to talk about. We've got great racing. We had a great track. We've got the weather we can talk about, and the schedule. So I'll have to pull the schedule up and the weather. But how far out are we on the next race, Paul? Are we a couple weeks?
1 week from this Sunday. It will be the Sunday of Labor Day weekend.
So my 10-day only goes to that Friday. So it's showing 86 degrees. And that's a long ways away. So we'll stay tuned on the weather. I mean, that's about all we can do. Probably going to be a little warm, which is fine. I don't think anybody's had too many problems. The weather's been all right for you, Rick, hasn't it?
Yeah, we haven't been outrageous. Just keep taking proactive steps to stay cool as long as I can until we head into the afternoon heat.
Let's see. The schedule, let me share the schedule quick for everybody. We just had Oval Series race number 8. So September 6th is our next race, Oval Series race number 9. We're coming down to the end of the season for the Dirt Oval. So are we... I can't even keep up. Are we down a race still? I think we are.
We are. No indication of a makeup date at this point.
Okay, so we'll talk to Steve and see if we can squeeze in. If it's a really nice fall, I mean, maybe at the end of September, first week October, maybe we can squeeze in a makeup race. That'd be awesome. So there is, while I'm thinking of it, there is some talk about doing an end of the year. I hate to misspeak on this. I think they're talking about maybe doing something at the track for all the racers. Stay tuned on that. I'll get more details and we'll figure out what's going on there and I'll let everybody know. So if you're watching this, there is something in the works for the end of the year for the Oval guys. I'm just not 100% sure if it's at the track or somewhere else. I thought it was going to be at the track. This is the last I heard, so stay tuned. Have you guys heard anything on that?
No details as of yet.
Just whatever Steve had originally posted. I think he wanted to do something like he does for the off-road side. I believe they went to El Viejo last year and had a little banquet type deal. So that's what I thought he said he wanted to do for the oval side too.
Yeah. So stay tuned on that. I don't know if something's changed or what's going on there, but we'll figure it out. So, RGB, how was your day at the track?
No, it was a terrible day for me at the track. I haven't raced that poorly in probably since the beginning. In April, I had some equipment issues that I'm resolving by just buying a new radio and receiver, and hopefully that'll take care of my turning issues. But besides that, I was struggling initially in the beginning of almost every race. By the time I get to groove and start putting down competitive laps, it was just too far gone in those ready to run classes.
Yeah. The groove was nice once it got grooved up.
Jerome did an excellent job on the track.
Thank you, Paul. I was waiting for somebody to speak up.
He's been putting a lot of water on the track frequently. For the last race that we had and this race, I feel like the track's the best it's been the whole year.
Yes, I think so too. And the racing indicates that, because I think the racing's been really good. So I think it's helped everybody. All the fast guys, all the new guys. I mean, you can tell. So I thought it was a beautiful day. We didn't even turn the air conditioning on. Paul survived. Now I could tell when I got home, but you just never got refreshed all day. So by the time I got home, I think I was in bed at 8:00 or something. But had a good day. Anything stand out to you guys Sunday? Anything you want to point out?
I just how smooth.
Just looked like
good. I think they're
good
going.
racing.
I think they're getting faster between the heats. It seems like the first heat always would take at least a half hour or 40 minutes longer than the rest. And I think now everything's just moving a lot more efficiently and getting that day started quicker so we can get it done a little bit earlier.
Yes, I believe we had one short racer's minute that I can remember the entire day. Everybody was ready to go. It made a huge difference in the flow of the day. So, except for when you didn't go out and marshal, Rick, that was, I don't know what you were doing there. I can't believe you didn't get out there. The joke there is I should have went out for Rick. So, no, it went really well. Racing, so I think everybody's.
RGB Racing is teamed up with
Rick. You can go out there and marshal. You just can't.
Johnston.
You just can't
Johnston
marshal.
Racing. Yeah, we've worked out
What's that?
I said RGB Racing is teamed up with the red uniforms over there at Johnston for a marshaling agreement for the rest of the season. So I've got my area taken care of now. So
Paul,
are you joining Team Johnston?
I was saying we've come up with a marshaling agreement, just to see how that how that works out, and I may further we may have further entanglements going forward, maybe a combination of canopies. That's all to see.
Alliances are formed and dissolved every day in every aspect of life. This one I didn't see coming. I think we're going to have to keep an eye on what's going on. Paul, I think, we've had Rick under our thumb for a while, and now I think we're going to I think we should triple tech him on Sundays.
Well, I got double.
I think we're going to have to check
last Sunday.
Yeah. Hey, quadruple tacked, whatever it takes. Quintuplets, whatever it takes.
Can't tech enough.
Hey, I thought tech went great, guys. We winged it, sorta. We did put some preparation into it. We tried to let everybody know what was going to happen. We learned some things as we teched. Anybody watching it doesn't know we teched the Losi Sprint class, trying to keep it ready to run. There was a lot of pushback from a few individuals who weren't accepting of the fact that we were implementing tech in stages, so to speak. We didn't have any repercussions for being illegal. And we said that in our post to begin with, that we were just going to implement tech, take notes, collect the data. And if someone had an issue, I think what I said was come see me if they knew they were going to be illegal. We're not going to say names. We're not putting anybody on blast. We did have one guy say, hey, my battery this. Another guy said, hey, my body this. And we let everybody race. None of those guys that had any issues, I don't think, podiumed or anything. But really, there was just a handful of things to talk about as far as tech goes. Paul, do you want to talk about anything you found during tech?
I was surprised. I shouldn't say surprised, but like you said, it was a learning curve for us. For anybody that doesn't know, we weighed all the cars. We checked battery voltages. We checked the shocks to make sure they didn't have any sort of limiters and that they were in the factory locations. We checked to make sure there were no fans on cars. We were looking for lightweight bodies. Just basically making sure everybody was adhering to the rules so that we truly have we have a lot of parity within the class. Everybody's the same. So, like you said,
Especially
I
the
think,
new guys.
yeah, I think in the future, like you said, we'll come up with, the actual tech infractions and talk to Steve about those and get his blessing as to what we want to do if you fail tech and just kind of go from there. But I don't think anybody out there, for the most part, was doing anything nefarious. A lot of people did not know we were teching the cars. They didn't follow the Facebook page and see your video. So we just kind of said, hey, come on over, bring your cars over. And some guys learned stuff that they didn't know because they bought used cars and found out that, oh, hey,
Talk about that.
do you know that you're running shock limiters in your shocks? No, I don't, but I bought this off of a guy that had it set up to race on carpet. So where they raced on carpet, I guess shock limiters were legal. So we just said, hey, no big deal this race, but you should take the internal shock limiters out and then, for the next time you get tech. So that's the goal, is just making sure that everybody's, running the same gears. We check gears also. So we kind of patterned it a lot after the GLSS race. I thought they had excellent tech for that race. And, I talked to a couple racers and they said, yeah, actually, you should do it just like the GLSS. You should tell them to come up before every round and get their car teched, and then maybe have a special tech table where their car sits. And I've actually heard from other racers that they feel like the non-box stock cars should be teched. So, maybe the mod sprints get teched 1 week, or the 1/10 late models. So I think people liked it. It was something new for the track. So
I liked it. And to touch on what you just said, we did make the A main guys get teched and set their cars down before they raced. To recap what we did, we teched everybody before the races. We teched everybody before heat 1, and then with a warning said we have the right to tech anybody throughout the day, but our intentions are to tech the A main drivers prior to that race. And that's what we did. And then they made us park the cars under the table. Now, to touch on that a little bit, a few people said, well, how can you tech when you're in the class? Well, usually that doesn't happen, but no one else is willing to implement this stuff. And I think if I put my work hat on, I don't know, Rick, you can tell me what you think of this too. I thought the process in setting the standard and creating the culture is just the best part of Sunday. And I think we can grow on that. And we do have some stuff lined up to where other people, John Stevens, big shout out to him. He helped tech. He teched my car. He teched Paul's car. We did not tech each other's car, and we didn't tech our own cars. So if nobody knows that, now they know. So John Stevens is going to help. I think Tim Hammer is going to help a little bit. Did he tell you that, Paul?
I think, yes, he mentioned he would be willing to help out as needed. So, and I think also maybe Dave Willie, but he was not at the race Sunday. So I know he's helped out in the past when we've had a race and we said, hey, tech right after we started running the Losi Sprints, I remember they brought them all over, and I believe it was Dave Willie and Nick Staler went through everybody's sprint cars last year and kind of checked them out just to see what was going on with them.
Yeah, and this is what I want to do. Like we've talked about doing tech, and we are going to record some videos. Paul and I got some stuff lined up, and we also have a third party that's going to help us with some tech, short pointers and tips on tech. But Rick, what did you think Sunday? I mean, did you think that went pretty well?
I think it can be simple, even made even more simple if you have the initial tech, before heat one, and then anybody can request a tech on any car throughout the rest of the day. So if somebody's suspicious of another car, they can request a tech, take and go with that person that they're suspicious of, and go to the tech tent, and they can do it right out in the open, and have their suspicions rectified. I think that's fair for everyone. It's not, it's rare that I think going forward it'll be rare that anybody will have any accusations. In the past we've seen some real fast cars that were obviously juiced in some way. We didn't see that on Sunday at all. It was close racing for everybody in all the heats. So I think if that's just the option, then we don't necessarily have to worry about teching every heat or anything like that, because everybody knows that they can have a request of their car at any time by anybody that's suspicious.
Yeah, I think in the future, what's going to happen is somebody from out of town, a couple guys will show up not knowing. We had that, couple years ago, some guys showed up and I think it was with the Slash. They were creaming everybody. And the announcer even said, just a reminder, this is a box stock class. So they clearly had different opinions. They were just wiping the field out. And I think they rectified that, because later in the day, I don't know that they came back and it wasn't as bad. But that first time they showed up, I think they just ran fast all day. But yeah, we'll see. I think it's a great culture. I liked it. I learned a little bit. It felt awkward in the sense of getting ready for racing. It took a little bit away from me on that aspect. So if we're going to tech, I think I need to park the trailer the day before, try to get some laps in. But Paul stepped in and helped me out, and John was doing it. And so I think if we get a handful of people teching, I've got some stuff set up that I think we can utilize. It should allow everybody to get their practice in. So we'll see how that goes. But I mean, I thought I saw a couple bodies that were questionable, but their weight was not super far off. So I've got the data. I've got it on the old spreadsheet. I'll share with you guys the new spreadsheet I made real quick. But I think the goal, like with the weight, is we'll come up with a minimum weight, and really anything that stands out we'll have to look into a little deeper. Rick, did you say the head of your guy fell off?
Yeah, several weeks ago, My head came off.
Is it still on or still off? I mean,
Oh, it's still off. Yes,
do you have it in your bag?
I have it somewhere. Yeah,
Well, if you think about it, find it, and I want to weigh it. I mean, this thing will do kilograms, and I'm kind of curious what the driver's head weighs, and
maybe
that'll
2 grams max. Yeah,
it'll give
I'll
us
find it.
okay. It'll give us an idea of, you know, it'll help us a little bit with gathering all this data. But I think, Paul, what we talk about, I don't want to show I'm not going to show the data we took only because there's a couple on there that are not correct body weight wise, and all batteries passed. One car had shock limiters. The only other big thing would be the radios, which the track owner has deemed legal to run your own radio. Am I forgetting anything, Paul?
Lightweight bodies.
Lightweight bodies.
There was only one, I believe, maybe two. We'll investigate at the next race. There was one that was definitely a lightweight body, but they were not running it that day. They just wanted us to put it on the scale and check it.
Yeah. So Paul did some homework today. I did a little bit as well. There's some parts on the Losi page that so that for full disclosure, I thought the only legal bodies were black and JR said gray. So that was two colors, but it appears that they're producing 4 or 5 other colors, right, Paul?
Yes, red, blue, yellow, white, black, and gray. Silver.
Okay. And silver. So, that's not a big deal, but I'll share this with you and show everybody what we're kind of doing. So the spreadsheet, is just for us to track tech. And this is the template. And what we'll do is we're putting part numbers, we're putting some notes on here as we go, and we'll just work off of that. I put the QR code for anybody that needs it, the day of tech, on here so that you can just snap it with your phone and go right to the Losi manual, which the Losi manual is part number 1387/2359. So it's LOS-1387. Paul, I'll stop sharing this for a minute. You said they combined 2 manuals, right?
I think we're gonna review my manual and check it with the one online when I get a chance. After the show, I'll do it. Just to see. They may have basically revised the original manual. There could be, but let's just look into it before we say anything. So just something we were looking at, we noticed today.
So to touch on that a little bit, I'm going to simplify it for the yeah buts. We had a few, yeah, but what about this? And yeah, but what about that? We're not trying to overcomplicate this ready to run class. If the rules say one thing, then that's what the rules mean. I mean, that's pretty much what it comes down to. If you have something that is in question and we verbally run it by our invisible board of rules, I laugh because I'd like to create a rules committee so that there's more than just a couple people involved. But we will adapt and adjust the rules as we go. So this is just the groundwork. So hopefully it's going to work for everybody. But let me share it again real quick so we can be done with this. And then I'll just show everybody what we're doing. We're checking weight, like Paul said. We're looking at the chassis. A couple guys came up with their chassis numbered, which is awesome because they have 2 sprints. We're checking the bodies, we're checking the springs and shocks, locations as well. The purple go in the front, the orange go in the rear. We don't need anybody taking a left front purple and stick it in the right rear for a little bit. This shock shaft travel is what we're looking for on the limiters. External limiters are easy to see because they're external. Internal are not, so you got to look at the travel, and the travel length is 10 to 11 millimeters of the shaft without. If it's got some internal limiters, it's only going to be about 7 to 8 millimeters, and Paul picked it up without any tools on the one car that had limiters. So the limiters are roughly 2 to 3 millimeters thick. So that's what we're checking there. We're checking the wheels and tires to be stock. The pinion tool, check the gear tool, checked the pinion and the spur gear. That went really quick and was easy. And we had 2 meters, 2 guys checking battery voltage. So I thought that all went pretty quick. So more on that. Any suggestions, let us know. If there's something else we need to really keep an eye on, we'll talk about it. So that's all I got on that, guys. Biggins, did you come to the show tonight? Did you come to the show tonight prepared?
I'm as prepared as I am every show. I make the efforts in a professional manner.
I'm concerned. The wall is bare.
Well, I've had 4 weeks to check the emails and our PO box, and of course, like always, they're inundated with requests for sponsorships, and then also knickknacks and gifts from the ladies, pins and needles. They always have something nice to send to me. But as I was trying to choose, a sponsor for this week, I just kept going back to, several weeks ago when that last race was scheduled. I was really touched and humbled that it takes a community, and Tarcar is a village, a community, and I don't know who started, maybe the commissioner or one of the other racers, when they realized I wasn't going to be able to make the race because I was taking a well-deserved vacation over to the Hawaiian islands, that everybody got together and decided not to race that day versus racing without me. So I'm humbled and I'm touched that everybody came together and decided just to stay home on that Sunday and wait for me to come back to participate and get on the track with everybody else. So I just want to send out a big thank you. I'm humbled by that gesture.
So what I take from that is Mother Nature is on your side.
I was in Hawaii, so it was a sunny day. So I just assumed it's the same weather here in Ohio. Nice weather, 72 to 80 degrees all day long. That's a perfect day for racing. So I
think you're the only person to ever compare Ohio weather to Hawaiian weather.
I'm just humbled, and I want to thank everybody for making that decision to not race
Excellent.
without me.
All right. Well, next time put it on the wall or you're fired. Hey, you can't break patterns. I'm like a muscle memory guy. I got worried that you weren't prepared. So, well, you guys, before we get into the racing, Paul and I talked today about a couple things, and we don't know how to incorporate tech into the show, like when we're working on the car. So we're going to record separate sessions of us working on the car, and we're going to work on a couple other people's cars that haven't done anything to their cars. One guy's a new guy. We're not going to say any names unless they want us to. We'll get their permission. But I think the first thing we're going to go over, Paul, is what you said, the diff in the Losi Sprint.
Yes, just general preventative maintenance on the diff.
Okay, that should be pretty soon, and we'll upload that video as quick as we can. So if anybody's not familiar with it, there are other videos on the web, but for local guys, we'll do it because we've got to do it anyways. So we'll just record it and talk about it step by step, what we do. I'll even share with people. I have no problem doing this. Partially because I don't know that I'm racing this class forever. As you can see up there, I got something in the mail today. That's a 2024 GFRP Assailant. And I'm going to run that late model class. And my Sprint is my Outlaw is almost ready. So oil, I can tell you, I use VRP. I'm very happy with it. I've done really well with the weight and the CSTs that I've chosen for shock and diff oils. For the new guys that don't know, that we'll talk about it in our video, the diff oil affects the rear grip of your car. So some of you guys, if your car's just horrendous on handling, there's a couple things to do. And really, the diff oil is number one and the shocks are number two. And setting your springs up right can really settle that car down and help you guys drive. So we'll talk about that. That'll be coming up in a video, and I'll try to announce it when we put it out. The other thing we got to talk about, my phone's making a lot of noise, so give me a minute here. My apologies. Is we're not going to announce a Rudy's Award winner today. But we have a Rudy's Award person picked out. And what we're going to do is award that person at the race, record it, and then upload it. And we've got this past weekend, we've got that recorded. Go to NKR Studio 74. It'll be uploaded in the shorts section. And you'll see Luke's got that award. So you can see that quick interview with him. And that's how we're going to do it. If I can figure out how to tie it into this show in editing, I'll do it. But I'll do that. I'll try to mark it in here. Now, the Beyond the RC Grid King of the Hot Dogs Award for all of her hard work at the track, being a maintain and ready for Brazil.
This is probably the most deserved award. Drone. I can't go on about how you helped me. How long have you been racing?
11 years probably now here.
How about what is your first car that you raced?
A buggy.
10
scale buggy. It was novice class, and they allowed you to, at first they allowed you to have just the regular body.
On the oval?
Yes.
Okay.
The novice.
All right.
Then after you won so many times, they started.
See, I told you they had a novice class at this track.
They did.
Who follows you most when they wreck?
Bob?
Yeah.
Don't feed the drama. Don't feed the trolls.
Bob, me ain't upset. Just get back in.
Hold on, let me zoom in. This guy? Who? Wait.
Bob,
Where are you?
Richard, I feel bad when I hit you.
Oh. How do you like those Rudy's hot dogs?
Love that. Stop there. Anytime I go by the one over on Glendale.
How do you get paid up?
Every
There you go.
Guy.
Everything.
Oh, I like it. I like it.
Everything.
All right. Well, once again, congratulations.
Thank you.
And
Thanks, you too.
keep up the good work.
There you go.
All right. We're back. RGB, Paul, let's jump into the results from Sunday's race at Tarcar Oval, race number 8. Let me share the screen. And we'll talk about it. So I have open here, I was looking at this earlier. This is just the box stock. I want to point out again that the box stock sprint had 20 drivers, which is awesome. It's an extremely fun class. So digging it. So we'll go through the mains real quick. We'll pick it up with the box stock sprint C main. Right to the results. Box stock sprint C main, Dennis G and Corey Johnston got the bump up. Rick, you were right there. Holy Toledo, I
was at the back. Like I said earlier, I messed myself up, or I might have gotten tapped, put me to last place, and then I started racing, and you got to have every exact thing go your way to go from last to to get the bump spot, and I just ran out of time.
Yeah. No, you ran pretty good. So let's see, lap 10. So lap 10, where were you? You were in 5th. So you had a hiccup on lap 10, but you didn't lose a spot. So like you said, you fell back to 7th. I think you started 6th. Worked your way back to 6th, 5th for a while, 4th. So you're really consistent. 3rd. And then, like you said, you ran out of time. So you were almost there with the bump. But Dennis G gets the bump. Corey gets the bump. So congrats to those guys. Let me go back. I don't mean to shortchange anybody. So Dean Sargent, David Greer, James Tanner, Wheels, and John Estep were in that C main. So good laps. Keep making laps. That's what they say. It's what I say. Moving on to number 2, 10 scale late model B main. And this is the fast guys class. Scott wins it. Jack Reeve. I introduced myself to Jack. I recognized him from, I think it was Dirt Devils. He was there, so appreciate him coming down. It's really awesome to see different faces at the track. I wish we could reel some more of that in here. I don't know how to do that, but it's nice to have a little mix in the crowd, so to speak. So Scott and Jack get the bump. James, Tim, Corey, and Frank. Looks like Frank had a problem. Round out that B main for the 10 scale late model. Moving on to 3, Spec Traxxas modified B main. RGB was in this, and it looks like he had a little hiccup and fell back to 3rd. So Donald Johnston wins it. Mark Hopwright. Big shout out to Mark. I got to stop sharing the screen. So while Mark's name is on my mind, Mark Hopwright marshaled me in a situation that we'll talk about later, and it's a much appreciated marshaling job. So also his driving has improved tremendously. I don't know what's going on with Mark, but he looked really good Sunday. So, and he's showing it here. He's showing it here in this B main. So Donald Johnson and Mark get the bump in the B main of the Traxxas modified. Rick, you were 3rd, 4 seconds behind Mark. Joe Detre, Dean Sargent, Howie Detre, and Gene Greer round out that top 7. Race 4, Street Stock B Main. I was in this. I'll recap a little bit of what I put out. I did a race report. I've not been good about doing race reports online, but I won the B Main. Jack Reeve was in second. He started first. I jumped on him early, like right off the start. I knew my car was fast. I worked on it all day. I finally got the right tire selection, and I was able to win that. So I snuck the win out in the B main. Jack and I bumped up. Dennis and Wheels. Dennis picked up speed too. He struggled. Dennis, I'm surprised, raced. He was out late partying all night. I heard all about it. No, I'm kidding. He was out late at a race. So he came along, but it was a rough start for Dennis G. That's for sure, in all classes. Box stock sprint B main. Race number 5. Ken Clark wins it. Dennis G gets the bump. Donald Johnston's in third. Chad, Donnie, Gil, Corey, and Greg round out the top 8. So Ken Clark and Dennis G get the bump. Let's see, Donald Johnston was right there, about a second behind him. So it looked like some more close 25. So 5 cars on the lead lap in that B main. Novice, race 6. Moving along. Trisha Sosnowitz, the Wiz's wife, wins it. She's running a street stock. She pulls out the win. John Johnston, I think he was running the new Losi late model, right, guys?
Yeah.
Okay. He took second in the novice. Justin Johnston was in third. Nolan Fowler in fourth. And Jim Spicer, I'm not sure how to say that. I apologize. Rounds out the top 6 in the novice class. So congrats to Trish, Justin, and John for getting on the podium of the novice. Race 7, Spec Traxxas Modified A Main. I watched a little bit of this race. It was pretty good. Bob Trott wins it, and his car was on rails again. He corners so well. He's been racing 40 years. Paul, what are you here? Let's see, 3 seconds behind him. Did you have anything for him at all?
A little bit. Him and I were maintaining a pretty good. It wasn't like he was pulling away, and I had some contact. One of the cars that was toward the back of the pack got into me. So once that happened, it was basically all over.
Yeah. Well, Paul, you took second, so you got on the podium again in the Traxxas Modified A Main. Dennis G got up there with you. He took third. Corey was fourth. Greg was fifth. Don Johnston sixth. John Estep seventh. Mark Hopwright eighth. So that's your top 8 in the Spec Traxxas Modified A Main. Good stuff. All right, some more fast guy racing. Race 8, 10 scale late model A main. Go right to the results. Nick Lethal wins it. And we're going to look at the laps because it is not the one that I thought. Okay, he let it start to finish. So he was on fire in the late model. He wins it. Nick Staylor takes second. Chris Keller third. The Wiz takes fourth. Scott Snyder fifth. And Jack Reeve sixth for the 10 scale late model. So you got Nick Lethal, Nick Staylor, and Chris Keller up on the podium in the late model. Moving on to the big one that we call the big one, only because the class is so big, but race 9 box stock sprint A main. Yours truly was in it. Paul, you were in it. We'll run this down. Ben, Eric, Paul, Joe Tuttle. So Joe Dietrich, Joe Tuttle, Bob Trott, Ken Clark, Dennis G. All fast. Any one of these guys can win this race. Happened to win it. after taking advantage of a little hiccup that Ben had. So I ran good all day and probably should have TQ'd, but I was sent off the track in one of my heats and still was able to finish third. Had somebody not run me off the track, I mean, I literally left the track.
I thought you were just taking lessons from RGB.
No, we talk about it. I mean, style points, I think I had RGB. He probably would disagree, but
you got to put some air. If you're going to go off, you go air.
Yeah. So the reason I want to talk about this is Mark Hopwright hobbled over. He moves as well as I do. I mean, there's a lot of us at the track that it's just tough to move. We all got something going on, and got me on the track. And so Paul and I talked about this today. We'll talk about it for the new guys so they understand the point system. So Ben was in that heat where I got sent off the track. Ben started first, or Ben was in first. I was in second. I don't remember where we started. At the very least, I was probably taking second in that heat, and I won my other two heats. So I probably would have TQ'd. I got sent off the track. Mark gets me back on the track. I race my way back to third. And after going back to the trailer, I pulled it up and was thinking about the points. And essentially, I was racing in second place at the time of the incident. I finished third, so I only lost a point in that heat. It wasn't as catastrophic. Paul and I were talking about it. Like Paul said, the old Eric would have walked off the stand. That's true. I mean, the first thing out of my mouth would be cuss words, and it was when I got sent off the track. But it was a really good teaching moment back in the trailer when I realized I only lost a point. Because you can tell it to me till I'm blue in the face, but I literally experienced a catastrophic event during a heat, went back out and finished, and only lost a point. So it doesn't mean that's always going to happen, but that's what happened to me, and it worked out in my favor. But it was a really good break. So enough of that. Let's go back to the results, and I'll finish up with that. So that break allowed me to start second behind Ben, and I'll show my laps here. For 25 laps, I dogged Ben, and Ben out of turn 2, what I think happened is it looked like he was forced to check up to a lapped car who didn't move up for him, and just lost his rear end, and I was able to maneuver around that and stayed in first place. So unfortunate for Ben, fortunate for me. That's just the way some of them play out. I know one of the D-Trays, it might have been Joe right here. I think in one of his heats, I think he was winning the whole heat and something happened. I think someone wrecked him, and he did not get the win in the heat. And I know he's a newer driver, but that's a good analogy of telling a guy like Joe or anybody else that's close, hang in there because the wins come. You got to keep throwing the car back on the track, and then the wins will follow. But I won it. Ben took second. Paul took third. Dennis G, as bad of a day as he had, worked his way up from the C and B main to fourth in the A main. Joe Tuttle was fifth. Ken Clark was sixth. Joe D-Tray seventh. And Bob Trott eighth. I don't know if Joe realizes this, if he even watches the show. But Joe, all these guys are fast guys that have won a lot of races with these cars, with the sprints. So you're just being in the A mains awesome and good to see. And that's what we like about this class, is you should be able to learn how to drive it and compete with everybody. So we'll shuffle that deck of cards with the new guys and work them in the A main a little bit. Enough of the box stock, back to the fast guys. Race 10, short course mod, A main. Nick Staler wins it. Nick Lethal takes second and Frank Vollmer third. So there's your podium. No surprises there. Jerome beating on the door. Looks like he was a little 329. Yeah, he wasn't that far behind, so the scoring stopped. But Jerome, Tyler, Jerry, and JR finish your top 7. Looks like JR, I think his car broke. I think he tried to assassinate a marshal earlier in the day. I could be wrong on that. Tyler wins it. Jerome takes second and Ben takes third. So there's your podium, 1, 2, 3. Tim Hammer was fast all day. I worked my way up to 5th from 7th, and that's from that B main bump. So I'm actually very proud of that. My lap times have really picked up, and I think there's a few things to work out, and I should be right there with everybody as long as I can get cleaner and better tires on before it's too late. So Scott Schneider, I think, had a problem in that race. I can't remember if someone hit him. I forget what he told me. Jack Reeve and James Norte. I got to stop the sharing for a minute. Huge apologies to James Norte. I absolutely demolished him on the first lap. Unintentional. He checked up, and I just ran right into the back of him going into 1. Just a dumb move. He was very cool about it. He said it didn't matter or something. I didn't have a car to do anything with today, but that's beside the point. So it just sucks. I felt terrible that I don't want to ruin anybody's day, especially on the first lap, because you can't win it on the first lap. And I just was stupid. So I got to work on that with my skills. So I will try. And again, James, I'm very sorry about that, and I'll try not to do it again. Race 12, short course late model A main. Jerome Rooks with the win. Jerry Steele taking second. I did not see that. Tyler in third. So there's your podium. Rick, you were 4th, and J.R. Stevens was 5th. Couple back and forths between Jerome and Jerry Steele, it looks like. So that looked like a pretty good race. Mod Sprint A main, race 13. Nick Staler wins it. Steve Brummett takes second. Jack Reeve made the trip down and took third. So awesome job for Jack. Let's see. He had a 6.244 fast lap. Yeah, look at that. So he started 6th, was in 5th for a while, worked his way to 4th, and took 3rd on the last lap to get on the podium. So good job, Jack Reeve. That's cool to see. Good stuff. Last but not least, Paul. Traxxas late model A main. Paul Rulin with the win. Shocker.
If you ain't first, you're last.
All right, that's my Paul Rulin face. J.R. Stevens takes second, Ben a step third, Mark Hopwright 4th, and John Stevens did not race. So there's your podium. Paul, J.R., and Ben. That's it. All right. Thanks, Rick. All right.
Oh.
So a lot of good racing. I thought the day was great. I really liked it. And I'm really stoked to try and it ain't going to happen at Tarcar this year, but if I can get these cars ready and I can make the trip with Scott to somewhere, Sandpit's going to, everybody, Sandpit up in Jerome, Michigan is going to run, I said Jerome, but is it Quincy? I think it's Quincy, Michigan, more towards Quincy. They're going to run some oval this winter. So I'm planning on running my cars this winter somewhere, whether I go to Dirt Devils with Scott or you. I'll have to work something out. I'm not going to beat my diesel down the road because diesel's almost $6 a gallon, but I'm going to have to, whether I got to pay you fuel money, whatever. Scott, whoever, I want to try and do more dirt oval in the winter. So I'll work on my late model and my sprint going into Tarcar next year, and that's going to be my focus. So the ready to run stuff for me is going to be kind of done, but that doesn't mean if we have a big vendors race or a GLSS type race if they come back. I don't know where they're at with that. I'll have to reach out to Aaron and see how things are going. I'm sure all those guys are still adjusting after the quick loss of Michael Altoff up there. So I'm sure they're still working on all that. That's just going to take a lot of time. But that's my plans for next year. I mean, I may throw a Losi Sprint down if Paul says, I'll do it all for you. You're running today, whether you like it or not. That's happened before. But I'm not selling the car.
Losi late models, baby.
Losi.
We're gonna take over the track.
I'm glad you said something. So we did the drawing live. It was kind of hard to hear with the speakers and stuff. We were up on the driver's stand. We used your poker chips. The list sold out. We shook them up. Casey drew them blindfolded. I think everybody won at one point. Casey had kind of went like this to every chip a couple times. So everybody was that close to winning. And then he pulls out nobody other than, hold on, where's it at? Paul? Who was it?
Lucky number 2. The Blue Deuce. My brother's favorite race car driver growing up, Rusty Wallace.
Yeah,
My
Paul's brother.
Lucky number 2, Blue Deuce. So, and a special shout out. You have done a lot of business with Whipple's Custom Wraps, and he was generous enough to donate a 50% off a custom wrap to the winner of the waffle. So the winner's going to get 50% off a custom wrap for the cars.
So big shout out to everybody because we gave away a couple cars. First one went to a guy out of town. It made me feel like crap. So I made the second one. I bought another car and I made the second one no shipping, local pickup only, offered it to the Tarcar group first and sat on it for over a week till it filled out. So huge shout out to all the people that bought tickets because essentially you've got Jim, a ready to run Losi late model, essentially donated by members of Tarcar. Jim, you're going to roll around in that for free with a 50% off custom wrap. So you may have to get a Rusty Wallace wrap.
Ooh, I like that idea.
So since he brought you a car, so no, that's what it's all about. It was a lot of work. Paul helped out. Some other people helped out, but I don't know if it's something I'm going to do a lot. I will toss the idea around of doing a raffle at some point to benefit the show. So again, I'll reiterate, I did not make any money on either car, and that was intentional. I didn't want to deal with anybody accusing me of anything. I didn't want to have to document anything. I wanted to be above reproach, and the only person that wins is essentially the guy that gets the car. Now, having said that, it's not free to do this show, and I've put a lot of money into it. And there is an annual subscription for the software to do it, et cetera, et cetera. So I've kicked a few ideas around about what to do to raise money for that. A waffle is one. And I have another idea that's not a great idea, but there's a couple options I can do. But anything to offset that cost, I may kick that idea around. I don't think people at the track will have a problem with it. I just have to be careful that we know it's a car that people want. So I think there's enough people at the track. With the late model, a lot of people bought tickets that had no intentions of running that class. So even with another car, like what if we waffled off I don't think we have to be politically correct on raffle on this platform, but if we waffled off a GFRP or a custom works or something at some point. That might get a little tough, but I guess if guys wanted to get in on it, even if they weren't going to run that class, they could turn around, try and flip it to a guy at the track that wants it. You know? So just some ideas. We'll think more on that. But Paul, let's talk real quick. Tell everybody what we're going to do. You want to work on this diff in the next couple days?
Yeah, we'll see how things go. We're going to tear apart a diff, do some PM on it, get it cleaned out, pick a fluid of our choice to put back in it. So just to kind of show, I talked to a couple racers and asked if they had ever even checked out the diff on their cars, and they were like, nope. So I thought it might be relevant. We've got 20 guys showing up to run that class for the last couple weeks. So then maybe we'll do shocks on an episode. We'll tear some shocks down, get the fluid out of them, put new fluid in them, take them off the car, put them back on the car type deal. So you can kind of see. We're not experts at this, but we've watched some videos ourselves and figured out a couple things. And I just thought maybe that could add a little bit to the technical aspect. And the box stock classes will be, something that we will be teching in the future. So you've got that slash modified. We may be checking you the next race. We'll have to see. So it doesn't take very long to check the cars. So, just something we want to do to keep everything fair. Some people may feel that, certain cars run faster on the track. And if we tech all the cars, that kind of lets you know, well, those guys are running the stock gears that came in the car. So maybe they've figured out something else that makes their car faster.
Yeah. We'll do that. We can talk about dog bones and what I do with dog bones to keep them smooth and running. We can even talk about batteries. Well, with the Losi Sprint, that's kind of dummy proof, so that's not a big deal. But we can still talk about batteries and storage, and we can even as much go over some of the C ratings. There's a couple different C ratings and sizes of batteries you can get for that Losi Sprint, so we could touch on that. Wheel maintenance, that's another big one. What else we missing? Cleaning. We can. I'll talk about what I use to clean with. Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff we can talk about, but more importantly, the feedback from you guys when we do it. Let us know what you liked, what you didn't like, what you're having trouble with, and we can try and get somebody. If it's not us, we'll get somebody to talk about the specifics of what you're having trouble with. And I'm guessing mostly that's going to be set up, but we'll talk more about that when we break it down. I mean, when you break your parts down, you got to put them back to where you had them, and things aren't always going to be the same. Your shock oils are going to be different. The car's going to ride different. So this is where you start to understand where to start on making moves on springs, what your car's doing, and how to react in your changes. And it can be a little frustrating, but once you do it a few times and you get your head wrapped around that process, you'll get confidence, and then you'll realize I need to do this to the right rear shock, or I need to do this to the front right shock, or whatever. So we'll talk about all that. Stay tuned for that, and it should be good. So I think that's it, Paul. I don't know if I have a lot to add about Sunday. Big shout out to Casey again for announcing the race. That's a long day for a guy that's not racing. Casey, I'm going to tell you right now, when I run, which it may not be till next year, when I run my other stuff, there's a sprint. Actually, Casey, there's a sprint available. I know a guy that's got an extra one.
Always
Yeah.
open.
There's
Always
a
open
sprint.
for the opportunity. We just need to
I'll
find a
go up.
little backup. We need to find a backup guy on the mic for, if Casey wants to give these
I'll go
Losi
up there.
Sprints.
It won't be pretty. It won't be pretty. I'll probably be laughing, but I'll go up. All we got to do is get that thing started, and I'll start talking in the mic.
There you go.
I'll bird dog you the most because I know you can take my baloney.
Oh, yeah. The announcer's curse.
Yep. So, but yeah, Casey, if you want to run a sprint next race, let us know. Let's get you out of the booth for a race. Yeah, I mean, there's no reason for you to have to be stuck in there all day when we're having all the fun. So I'll reach out to Casey or Paul. We'll see him at the track, and we'll figure it out. So, again, big shout out to John Stevens for helping us tack. And stay tuned coming up. We're going to try and sprinkle in short tech tips from a guy. Everybody knows who he is, so stay tuned. I'll announce it when he's getting ready to come on. So that's it, Paul. Time for dinner.
All right, sounds good. We will catch you at the next race.
All right, cool. Thanks, Paul.
Yep. See you later.
All right. Bye.